So a single misplaced past tense verb in like a legal document can completely alter a contract, right?
Oh, absolutely. It shifts liability entirely.
Yeah, it basically changes reality. The
Hmm.
difference between the words have and had isn't just, a matter of semantics. It is a strict timeline.
It really is.
And today we're doing a deep dive into the mechanics of why these two tiny words dictate so much of our language and why our brains still, occasionally trip over them.
It's a fascinating mechanical issue, honestly, because we all know the foundational definitions from our sources today, right?
Right.
Both words basically indicate possession or an experience or an action,
Wow.
but the entire defining boundary between them is just time.
Right. And since we are diving deep into the architecture of this today, consider me the inquisitive student in your linguistics lecture.
I love that.
So we know the basic split, right? Have equals the present and had equals the past.
Yeah, that's the core rule.
So if I say to you, the listener, I have a bike, it's sitting in my garage right now.
Exactly. You currently own it.
But if I say I had a bike, well, it's history.
Right. But from a structural standpoint, the really interesting difference is how forgiving the past tense is compared to the present.
Wait, forgiving. How so?
Well, in the present tense, have is notoriously picky.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah, it requires subject-verb agreement. So you say, I have, but then you have to switch it up and say, she has.
Right, right.
But when we shift to the past tense, had becomes this, universal key. It functions perfectly regardless of the subject.
So I, he, she, they, it just doesn't
And
matter.
it simply doesn't matter. There are absolutely no changes required.
Which is great in theory, but here is where the timeline gets really messy in actual practice.
Yeah, the application is trickier.
You see native speakers write things like, I didn't have the time in professional emails constantly.
Yeah.
Linguistically, if the event happened yesterday, would I say to the listener, I did not had money? Why does our brain so desperately want to double up on that past tense?
It is an incredibly common glitch, and I'll tell you why. The reason it happens comes down to a quirk in English called do support.
Okay, do support. Break that down for me.
So English is one of the rare languages that requires a dummy verb. We use the word did to form a negative statement or ask a question in the past tense.
Okay.
But here's the golden rule behind the mechanism. English verbs generally only allow one tense marker per clause. And after the word did, you must always use have, not had.
Oh, okay, let's unpack that. It sounds like the word did acts almost like a linguistic sponge.
That is the perfect metaphor, actually.
So it absorbs all of that past tense energy so you don't need to put it anywhere else?
Precisely. The word did absorbs the past tense completely. And because that single clause can only handle one tense marker, the main verb that follows it is instantly stripped back to its bare form.
So it has to revert to have.
Exactly.
So did does all the heavy lifting. That's why saying I did not had money feels like you are trying to shove two past tense markers into the exact same slot.
Right, it's redundant.
So your negative statement simply becomes, I did not have a car.
Yep.
And I'm assuming that same mechanism applies to questions.
It does. You wouldn't ask, did you had a pen?
Right, because the did already soaked up the timeline.
Exactly, leaving the base verb completely bare. So you just ask, did you have a pen?
That makes perfect sense. But did only gets us through a single event, right?
Yeah, that's true.
What happens when did hits its limit? If a speaker needs to juggle multiple things happening in the past, a listener is going to get completely lost in the sequence.
It can definitely get confusing.
So how do we build a clear timeline then?
Okay, so that is where we level up and leverage a specific structure called the past perfect.
Past perfect, okay.
It solves that exact sequencing problem. So let's say you tell someone, I had finished my work before he came.
Oh, it's like dropping a linguistic anchor.
Exactly. By using had before the word finished, you are structurally guaranteeing to the listener that the first action was 100% complete before the second action even started.
Wow, so it creates absolute precision in the timeline.
It really does. It removes all the ambiguity.
It really highlights how much engineering is hidden inside basic, everyday sentences.
It's pretty amazing when you break it down.
It is. So just to summarize the core takeaway here for you. Use have for the present, had for the past, and remember the sponge rule.
Yes, the sponge rule is crucial.
English only allows one past tense marker per clause. So let did absorb the time and always follow it with have.
It is a mechanical rule that will never fail you.
Well, I'll leave you with this final provocative thought. I challenge you to actively listen to your colleagues' emails or casual conversations today.
Oh, they are definitely going to hear it.
They will. Notice just how often people accidentally fall into that double past tense trap. Once you recognize the did not had glitch in the matrix, you'll start catching it everywhere. Subscribe this channel, The Explainer, for more videos.